a hate thought might only affect this dimension. There's no reason to block the one to other universes just because of a hate thought. However, there are times when something is so negative it impregnates the whole room, and you want to block it there merely because that destroys the pattern. That is you're taking the pattern out of the book of life there. You don't want there to be a memory of hate, a memory of cruelty. You know, say you watch a horror movie, which you shouldn't do, but say you watch a horror movie and you get the heebie-jeebies and you don't want to go to sleep. What you got to do, if you douse a number for that fear pattern, or that, say it was a murder, and that pattern that exists in the, it's like an elemental, it's like a demon is created in your living room when that happens. When that occurs, you douse a numerical ratio for that. You find which dimension it manifests on. You just take your pendulum over a small version of this diagram or a dowsing chart and say which dimension. Or it might be more than one dimension. And then you would write the number out, put it over the dimension. But however, in a case like this, it's extremely common that you might need to take it out of the book of life, because you don't want there to be a record of that negation. You want this world to be clean. But you don't do it promiscuously. You do not just put everything in the book of life dimension unless it's appropriate. And you will know, because you can ask, is it congruent, is it incongruent? So we have two primary types. We have the inside the ring type dimensions, 30 of them, and we have one Akasha dimension. Now, another thing, this diagram, which is available from Right Hand Press, is actually two different diagrams compressed into one. And it is composed, each diagram is composed of the same three symbols, which has to do with air, fire, and water energies, and a number underneath. However, one diagram, which is underneath, has a different number because the number refers to the density or the vibrational frequency range of that dimension. So what we've got here are, we have two numbers. I've got two sets here of the Akasha dimension. We have one that is the 9181, has to do with spiritual causes of disorder in the book of life, that's registered in the book of life for Akasha. And then we have another one, which is --2000-333-111-. This one refers to the material effects that resonate in the doorway between worlds. So what we want to do is we want to remove it all. So the way that one does that, let's see, I don't know if there's some scissors. It's all right, I'll just tell you. In the box, you stack the one that starts with 2000 on top of the 9181. And that makes the same symbol that is right here in the world diagram. So you have your, you can also order these boxes from Right Hand Press already prepared. But so the idea is you have your world map in there, in the bottom. On top of the world, you have this symbol on the left side. And you have two symbols stacked. Now, so you've got a world map that takes up the whole bottom, and you have two stacks that you can stack things on. I'll show you one already prepared. All right, we have here a world diagram, and we have an Akasha dimension, and then we have a reinforcement of on the top, which is just like if you put the two symbols on the very top of the stack, except that we just put it there so that when the box is shut, it's just like you've got the same energy going down that you've got coming up in the same order. It's just like you've got it, it just reinforces it. So what you've got is you've got an Akasha stack and you've got an others stack. So all you have to do with this system is say, and you can order the prepared boxes from Bruce McDonald, but if you want this, what you do is you just say, okay, I have a disharmony. The pattern is 722.116._4. All right, now I want to know, is this in the Akasha dimension or other? Oh, okay, it's in other. So I would put it on this stack. I would put it on the stack that did not have the Akasha symbol. Now, then you would say, okay, you might have a different disharmony. Is there another aspect of this disharmony? Okay, what aspect is that? And you would douse 4, 4, 4, 2, 2, 2. Then you write that in your Star of David very neatly, and then you put it, say, okay, is this in Akasha or is this the other one? Akasha. You could get your pendulum and it could swing to Akasha. You say, okay, Akasha. Remember, you need to orient the map and the symbols correctly. They both should have the tops to north in this little box. So you've got your 2 stacks, one Akasha and one other. And everything on other, on the right-hand side, is everything inside this world, inside this inner circle. Everything on the other side here is this symbol here, Akasha, the Book of Life. So you've got everything. So you just stack them in the same order, face up, in the same, with the tops to north. Make your stacks, you douse whatever disharmonious energies, and you can bind up all types of entities this way. The only kind you can't bind up this way are sun-earth bounds, and you wouldn't want to. So the sun-earth bounds you would deal with in another manner, which will be discussed on another tape. So you've got a mobile box. If all that you had was this mobile box and the little dowsing, which can be made with just this one piece of paper and a dollar file box, and if all you had was a numerical dowsing chart that had a dot, dash, space, underline next number, overline next number, new line, if you had, and the number 0 to 9, if that's all you had, you could bind up dark forces, demons, elementals, alien demonic energies. You could bind up hate. You could bind up voodoos, hexes. You could bind up others created elementals. You could bind up viruses. Believe it or not, viruses have a dark force component. You could bind up all manner of darkness on this planet. And you could fill hundreds of these boxes in your lifetime. And if you did that, you would be a primary person to help save this planet. It is faster to use the world diagram. It's not faster to douse it or put it on, but it will clear within 60 seconds on the world diagram. In the box, it may take up to an hour for the ones inside the circle. The ones in Akasha clear immediately, though. So I recommend that if someone is serious, they have both the world diagram and they also have a mobile travel box. If somebody is just not, has a lot of trouble dowsing dimensions, they can douse Akasha or other very easily. So often this is an easier system for someone who has a lot of trouble dowsing. So by doing this, you will find you can clear up viruses, you can clear up components of AIDS and various other things, but remember, in all forms of dowsing and radionics, you must always be sure that it's congruent with God's will, with the higher self. Not my will, but thine, O Lord. You should always make sure that when you start a dowsing session, that you ask the famous dowsing words, can I, may I, should I? And, or you make it, personally though, I like just saying, is it God's will for me to douse this? God's will is your higher self, and that's what you want to do. So say you know it's God's will, like if somebody asks you for help, you must say, is it divine will for me to help this person? If it's not, then you must not do it, because you will take on a karmic debt. If you try to clear somebody with AIDS that's not supposed to be cleared, you're taking on the karma of that person. You may get AIDS. It doesn't matter if you use needles or have homosexual sex or anything. You may get AIDS without ever going to bed with anybody if you try to heal an AIDS patient when it's against cosmic law. You can heal some AIDS patients, but you've got, that's just an example. It can be chronic viral syndrome, it can be candidiasis, it can be cancer. You just can't clear cancers and all these things without first knowing if it's congruent with the person's soul and with your soul. So you say, is it congruent with my soul and this person's soul to do this clearing at this time? And if your pendulum gives you a yes, or you can muscle test. One very good method of muscle testing that I like, although I do it the reverse of some people, is I use these fingers here. And say you can muscle test by seeing the relative strength of the fingers. Now, when you pull your fingers together, except I do it the reverse of some muscle testing for the simple reason that I do a lot of lists. So say if I wanted to say, what is my etheric body energy at this time on a percentage scale with 100% being ideal, I could say my etheric body energy at this time is 10%, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60%, 70%, 80%, 90%, 95%, 96%, 97%, 97%. See, what it's going to do is it gives. So all you got to do is take your fingers, lock them together, and hold them tight and pull. You can say, what percentage of congruency is, we'll say eggs, ranch eggs. You know, it's not hens that run around, you know, inside Tyson's Foods there in Arkansas, but say chickens that are raised out in the country. How congruent would it be for me to eat eggs that from country chickens? Okay, 10% congruency, 15, 20%. See, I'm not very compatible with eggs. How congruent would it be for me to go to a movie this afternoon? 0. That's because I'm supposed to teach a class. How congruent would it be for me, so you could ask us something like this, how congruent with my soul's highest good would it be for me to clear, and I'm going to think of a certain person, of dark forces? 0. Yeah, 0. Okay, I'll think of another person. How congruent would it be for me to clear this other person of dark forces? 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. 50% congruency. So see, it wouldn't be like a high priority item for me to clear the second person. I definitely should not clear the other one. Now I could say, how many days will it be before I will be in my peak biorhythm, physical biorhythm? 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. Isn't that a shame? It's going to be after my seminar. I wish I'd be in my peak during it. But, you know, I could say, okay, how many days will it be before I'll be in my peak mental biorhythm? 0, 1. See, tomorrow I'll be real sharp. I bet you guys wish you were filming this tomorrow, huh? Okay, now you can ask something like, how many entities are in this room? Well, I'll have to think of another room because this room's clear. Okay, I'll think of the hotel we're going to stay in. How many entities are in the hotel we're going to stay in? Dark forces, in other words, dark energies, negative energies. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, not bad at all. You can say, how many of those 5 are earthbound spirits? 0, 1. How many are fallen angel energies? 0, 1, 1 fallen angel. So you can break it down. If you have your list, you can do all this. Sometimes I'll wake up at night and I'll feel something in the house. I'll say, okay, what is it? Is it a fallen angel? Is it an alien energy? Oh, it's an alien energy. Okay, got to get up. I've got to douse do my dowsing and put it on the world. So you do this with a lot of things, like you say, okay, can I adequately digest a hamburger? No. You know, can I? Is it appropriate for me to? You could ask something like, is it appropriate? Is it congruent with Laura's highest soul's good for her to continue working at the Air Force Base for the next year? Let's say, what percentage of congruency is it with your higher self for you to continue working at the Air Force Base for the next year? We'll say, first of all, is it neutral? No. Is it negative? No. Is it 10% congruency, 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100%? So see, now we know it's not neutral, it's not negative, it is congruent for Laura to work there for the next year with her soul's highest good. And you know, you just can't assume what's good for you. You got to know. So then you think, okay, how congruent is it? Like, say we're going to have seminar tomorrow. well, we're starting tonight. We're going to say, how congruent would it be for us to have 20 people, at least 20 people there? 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90%, 100%. Okay. How congruent would it be for us to have 80 people at that seminar with the highest good of the group? See, I didn't word that correctly, but I was thinking it. Highest good of the group. The soul's highest good for 80 people. Be less than 0, 0. So see, it would be incongruous with our soul's highest good to have 80 people at the seminar, because it would tend to cause